Josh McCuistion of Soonerscoop.com here with Crandall, Texas head coach Kyle Hardin. Coach, got to watch one of your guys commit today. I mean, for a coach, what's a day like that like? I mean, I know we all see it from the outside, but you running everything and obviously introducing, kind of getting MCing today a little bit.
Yes, sir. No. When we do these, it never gets old, and I think it just goes back to the process. And Sammy Fun, just watching his work ethic and the kind of young man he is, and it's really neat to see when a kid puts as much as he has into this sport, and the guys around him just paying off, and this special day for him.
Now I know. You've been here. I think came in 2020, correct? Is that right? Yeah. So you've watched him mature and kind of grow up. What kind of strides has he made? Because he feels like a guy that, as good as he already is, there's still so much more for him there. How much has he grown, in the couple of years you've been here, and obviously took over at a very interesting time as well?
Yes, sir. No, I mean, the growth from, I was looking at a picture of him in a doorway from when I first got here. So physically, he's definitely grown. And then just the whole piece of just, becoming a really good leader and good teammate, and, qualities he already had, but just seeing them come out as, with maturity and such. And that's been fun. And, he drives a van and brings about 10 guys to practice every day. And just a great team guy, great young man. And OU got him a really, not just a really good football player, but a really good young man.
You talked, that was kind of how you led off the ceremony, was talking about all the coaches calling and having questions, the typical questions that every coach does, and just how he kind of checked all the boxes. There wasn't really anything you had to worry about, that kind of stuff. Is there anything in particular, is there, I always like to ask, is there a story that sticks out? You mentioned the van. That's obviously a great example, but just kind of the kind of kid he is, the kind of person he is?
Yeah, it kind of just goes back to what I was talking about, just checking all the boxes. I've had the luxury of coaching some really good athletes in the past, and all of them had one thing in there that I had to skirt around with talking to coaches, and I didn't have to skirt around anything with him, just from character to grades to work ethic to leadership to it all. And that's the beauty of him. So I really can't point on one thing, because it's a whole lot of things with him.
Okay. Now, talked a lot about him as a person. Obviously, if you can't play, you're not on this stage. So that's a big part of it for him as well. As a player, what are things that you, as a guy who sees him day in and day out, that maybe we take for granted, maybe we don't, but what are things that you really like about him as a player, and what's he kind of bring to Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think just offensively, just to get the ball in his hands, and then defensively, you see just the flash and the explosiveness, and he's a guy that can be a little bit out of position and still make a play in there. To where I think there's obviously, room for growth in there, but he definitely has that flash, and when you think he's not going to make a play, then all of a sudden it comes flying through the air, and he's there. So, but no, he's the mental side is huge with him, to where he's so intelligent, to where you tell him something and he's not going to forget it. He's not a guy that necessarily has to rep things out 1,000 times, to where he's just so intelligent, good sense for the game and all, to where you can have a conversation, he can go out there and do it.
I'm sure that's just maddening as a coach, man. Well, and kind of as a final question, Oklahoma with the staff turnover and everything, there's been a lot of intrigue, just, what they're like on the trail, what they're like to deal with. Obviously, as a coach, you're fielding phone calls, talking to, I'm sure, Coach Venables, Coach Roof, the whole crew. What's it been like working with them so far?
Coach Roof did a phenomenal job recruiting him, very professional. And I know Sammy went up with his visit and came back, and just big smile on his face, great things to say. And then I also know Coach Levy, the OC there, and but no, they've been great. They've been great, and communication's been great. All went through like it's supposed to go through.
Well, we're going to let Coach Hardin get to some fishing he's got coming, man. He's all overdue. But this has been Josh McCuistion of Soonerscoop.com here with Crandall head coach Kyle Hardin.